In Inazuma 11.3, we were introduced to this idea of international teams, the teams that represent each country. And in typical Inazuma 11 fashion, these teams were often themed around general ideas, sometimes weird stereotypes, but generally themed around that particular country. For instance, Knights of Queen is all about knights, queens, royalty, Arthurian folklore, all that kind of stuff. And obviously that's all based on actual England and what most people perceive England as. Which is why today I went through 33 European countries in order to make more Inazuma 11 international teams. So this is my pitch for an Inazuma 11 team for every European country, or at least 33 of them. Few disclaimers before we dive in. I'm a British boy, I am terrible at pronunciation, and some of these names and stuff I'm gonna get horribly wrong, so please do correct me in the comments. And two, a lot of this knowledge is taken from Google searches, and obviously I fully expect people who live in these countries to be way more aware of this kind of stuff than Google, so please let me know if there's any corrections to do with anything I say, or if there's any other ideas you have that you think would be better. This is quite simply just my pitches based on what I've learned researching this video. Without further ado, let's dive right in with our first country. So first up is Austria, which I've called the Golden Eagle. This team is named after an eagle common in Austria. It's an ice-based team based on the Austrian Alps, and the captain is based on the city of Vienna. The captain would be a musician, with Vienna being called the City of Music, and drawing from Vienna's other name, the City of Dreams, he would have a special dream-based hissatsus. Whatever that means, I don't know, maybe he falls asleep and a dream version of him appears from his dreams and kicks the ball and shoots. I don't know, something stupid like that. As for Belarus, their team, Green Bison, would be a forest-based team, due to Belarus housing the biggest old-growth European forest. The captain would be an explorer looking for buried treasure due to the large amount of buried treasure. So he'd have maybe some chess-themed hissatsus with gold and treasure, all that kind of stuff. A map-based hissatsus for dribbling, who knows. There would be a potato hissatsus, because apparently according to Google, potatoes are in practically every dish in Belarus. That seems cool. Moving on to Belgium, the team would be called the Royal Court, and it would be a kingdom royalty-based team due to Belgium having the greatest number of castles per square mile in the world. The captain would be based on a stereotypical king due to the kingdom-based theme and the national animal of Belgium being a lion. Belgium's second biggest city, Antwerp, is the diamond capital of the world, so obviously Belgium needs to have all the diamond moves. Diamond break, diamond hand, so on and so forth. Continuing a lion theme, we move on to Bulgaria, where the team would be called the Crowned Lions. The team would be based on Thracian mythology, with two captains, and based on the two different versions of the Thracian god Zis. One would be based on the Apollonian, the Apollo Zis, with a solar and celestial theme, and the other would be based on the Dionysian Thys, I'm not even going to try, with a fire and nature theme. Croatia, their team would be the Martin, which would be a water-based team, as Croatia is famous for being home to 90 waterfalls, 1,244 islands, 26 rivers, etc. And there would be a Martin-based move, because Martins are awesome. Czechia's team would be Dynamo Sparta, an ice hockey-based team. And this ice hockey team would be kind of like Earth 11 in Galaxy, where it'd be a team of people who aren't footballers, but instead of ice hockey players. And their coach decides to transform them into football players because of their skill set or whatever. And the captain would be a particularly tough goalie who uses ice hockey moves, because apparently ice hockey is really popular in Czechia. Moving on to Denmark, the team would be called the Mythic Guard. It would be a fairy tale themed team based on the works of Hans Christian Andersen, the author of The Little Mermaid and other fairy tales. Moving on to England, which obviously is my country, I've decided to call it YI or something, some kind of English slang, and it would be a team of chavs. Chavs are defined as a young person of a type characterized by brash and lootous behavior. So I'm sure you can imagine that. The polar opposite of Knights of Queen. I can imagine each player being based on a different city in England, and the captain could be a Beatles parody from Liverpool. Finland's team is called Aurora Borealis, a bit named after the Northern Lights, and the team would be based on Finnish folklore. The captain is based on Ukko, the god of sky and thunder. And I imagine the ace striker could be Arctic Fox based, with a Northern Lights-based move due to the myth that the Northern Lights are caused by a mystical Arctic fox running north. France's team would be called Paris Triomphal. I really hope I pronounced that right, and would be the richest team in the world based on PSG. They would use top-class football training facilities to create the strongest players, and their captain would be a narcissistic speedster. I wonder where that came from. Germany's team is based on Oktoberfest, and I've called it October Eagle. There would be a big music theme in the hissatsus based on Beethoven, and the coach could be super uber smart and stats focused based on Einstein. Greece, we've already had Zeus, we've already had Mount Olympus, so this is Olympic Spartans. This is players based on Greek heroes and minor gods from mythology. Players could include players based on Orpheus, Prometheus, Pandora, Jason, etc. And if this is set in the future or whatever, it could be coached by like Hera or Poseidon. And we have yet to have a Zeus player, so why not go for like Zeus as the captain? Moving on to Hungary, this is Thermal Falcon, a fire/heat based team based on Hungary's saunas, hot springs, and thermal spas, with the hissatsus based on hot water. Moving on to Iceland, this team is Gry Falcon. Icelandic people are often considered to be descendants of Vikings, so I imagine a Viking-based team, with a volcano-based move. Iceland is famous for being the best at many things per capita, and so I imagine this team to be considered one of the best teams in the world. Moving on to Ireland, this is Newgrange. The name is a prehistoric monument in Ireland, which is said to have housed Irish gods, including Dagda and Aengus. And Irish gods are what this team is based on. The captain is based on Aengus, the god of youth, beauty, and love, and it would have a bird in a love-based shot. And the goalkeeper would be based on Dagda, the god of the earth, and a move can use his huge club, which can kill 9 men in one swing. That's a lot of men. Moving on to Italy, this team is the Voyagers, and it's a team of explorers, as Italy has housed many, many famous explorers. And it would use moves and tactics from all over the world to represent how they've all gone and explored and learned about all the different countries. It could be a really strong team. So when I was researching Latvia, the one thing that kept coming up was how Latvia has sick as fuck internet speeds. So this is Baltcom, named after an internet service provider in Latvia, and it's just a team of gamer guys who spend their time surfing the web with those fast as fuck internet speeds. Also, there'd be a chocolate bear move. Sure, it would be like an otaku-based team, but cooler, because these are cool guys who surf the web with those fast internet speeds. Shout out to Latvia, I really want to go now, just to experience those internet speeds. Did you know Game of Thrones was filmed in Northern Ireland? Well, this Northern Ireland team, Belfast Elk, would be a team of fantasy actors with dragons and swords-based moves inspired by Game of Thrones. The striker duo would be a romantic acting duo. Think of like Romeo and Juliet type actors. They would represent Jack and Rose of the Titanic, as the Titanic was made in Belfast. Now, for the Netherlands, as my biggest audience is actually from the Netherlands, I thought I'd ask you guys for this one. As I've heard so many people clamoring about wanting a Dutch team in Inazuma 11, I thought I'd give you guys the chance to pitch your team. So let's take a look. So first up, Might Be Mila sent me this amazing art for 4 members and called them, I have no idea how to go about pronouncing this, Miek de Vries, Gies Dijkstra, Nietel Bruna, and Amon Oz. I'm so sorry, Mila. And looking at what the rest of you guys said, you really wanted the goalkeeper to have a windmill-based move. You said the team should be hella tall, there should be tulip-based moves, weed-based moves, and also they should roll the enemy flat with a wheel of cheese. This is the ultimate advert for the Netherlands. As for Norway, obviously I had to do a team based on Norse mythology. So this is Valhalla, it's a Norse god team. A striker's based on Thor, captain's based on Odin, it would be a midfielder. I mean, this is obviously the most obvious team, but come on. It's so cool and I want it so bad. Poland's team is Ancient Forest. It's kind of like Forest Team, but Polish. It is based on Europe's last lowland old-growth forest, which is found in Poland. Their national animal is a white-tailed eagle, so you've got to have an eagle-based shot. Portugal's team is Barcelos Rooster. The captain and a striker would be an exaggerated version of Ronaldo, who of course would be an aggressive egoist who scores goals for fun and rules his team out of fear. He can also be themed around the Iberian wolf, who is the national animal of Portugal. Portugal's a famous surfing destination, so the rest of the team could be chill surfer types, and they could have a plot arc about overcoming their captain and beginning to work together as an actual team. I really feel like the Ronaldo fans are going to come for me now, but I think it would be fun. Did you know that Romanians invented the self-propelled aircraft and designed the first jet? Well, this Romanian team, Anima Wings, named after a Romanian airline, would be an aviation flight pilot-based team. I guess they would have like plane-based moves. How cool would that be? My Scottish team is called Sea Unicorn, and it's a team based on sea-based mythological creatures in Scotland, such as the Loch Ness Monster, Kelpies, Selkies, the Stewer Worm, and the Corvraken Whirlpool. Imagine a player based on a bloody whirlpool. It would be a more regal type sea team, compared to the typical surfer shtick. Scotland has a lot of sea monsters, so this felt appropriate. This is Grey Wolf, the Serbian team, and it would be an electricity-based team based on Nikola Tesla, who was an ethnic Serbian. They would be a team who used to be one of the best in the world, but has fallen in recent time, based on the tennis player Novak Djokovic, who used to be the best in the world, but has since fallen. As for Slovakia, the team would be called Fort Chamos. This would be a castles and fortress-based team, as it has the world's highest number of castles and chateau per capita. The team would be very defensive, and it would play with one single striker who is the team's worst player, and the manager could be designed like a mini castle. Slovenia's team is called Honeybee, because Slovenia is the heart and soul of beekeeping. There are 5 beekeepers per 1,000 people, so it would be a bee-based team. Yellow and black kits, honey-based moves, and a queen-type figure as the goalkeeper and captain. Give me the B team. Also, they would have a B team. As for Spain, this is the Blade of Madrid, intended to be the opposite and rival of Barcelona Orb. It could contain some of the members on Muteki no Giant, not in Barcelona Orb, and it would obviously be one of the strongest teams in the world. And obviously it's based on Real Madrid. Sweden's team is the Wolverine, and it's based on the Swedish Lapland. It's an ice-based team with a bear-based move, a lynx-based move, and a Wolverine-based move. And the Wolverine might be the most badass name for a team I've ever heard. Switzerland's team would be based on Swiss folklore and called Frost Giant. Another ice-based team, this would be based on the Swiss Alps, with also a bit of a mountain theme going on in there. The captain would be based on Jack Frost, and you'd have players based on the Barbie Gatsi, small white-furred men with large feet who live in the mountains. Turkey's team is called Nazar, and is named after the amulet used to fight off the curse Evil Eye, which is common in Turkey. It would be an occult-type team, themed after curses, superstitions, and cures, and obviously some magical objects. There's a tunnel in Ukraine called the Tunnel of Love, which is a railway surrounded by green arches, and is 3 to 5 kilometers in length. It's a famous place for couples to take walks in, since trains only come 3 times a day, and so I imagine the Ukraine team would be called Cupid's Nightingale, and it would be a team composed of couples, with the captain goalkeeper, who is the ultimate matchmaker based on Lada, the Slavic goddess of love. And finally, Wales, where the team would be called the Red Dragons. As the Welsh can claim that they have the earliest appearance of King Arthur, there would be several Arthurian-based players. Players could also be based on the Mabinogion, no idea if I pronounced that right, which is a medieval Welsh story collection. And you'd have moves based on creatures such as dragons and Afank. And that is all the teams I've made. 33 European teams. Now obviously I've excluded Russia due to the situation in Russia and Ukraine, and I've left a link down below to go and support Ukraine in this crisis. So if you want to donate any money towards that, that would be insanely appreciated. But thank you so much for watching today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.